Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Poliscope on Dominion Television, broadcasting from Ibadan, the political heartbeat of the Southwest. Tonight, we turn our focus to a question that is gradually shaping conversations across party lines, corridors of power, and grassroots communities. From policy direction to electoral ambition, positioning and performing for 2027. Across Nigeria, policies are being rolled out, reforms are being defended, alliances are quietly forming, and political actors are calibrating and recalibrating. But beneath governance and public service lies a deeper question. Are today's policies and policy decisions genuinely about national development, or are they strategic building blocks towards 2027? Is governance now doubling as early campaign groundwork? Are political actors positioning based on performance, perception, or power calculation? And to dissect these, we are joined by two distinguished voices. But of course, SAMSON BALOGUN is my name. As Nigeria edges closer to another electoral cycle, history reminds us that the journey to the ballot does not begin in the election year. It begins in policy rooms, budget speeches, public appointments, party restructurings, and grassroots mobilization efforts. The politics of 2027 may still seem distant, but the positioning has already begun. At the federal and state levels, policy direction is becoming a key instrument of political legitimacy. Leaders understand that achievements, whether in infrastructure, economic reform, social intervention, or security, may form foundation for the electoral narrative. But beyond achievements lies perception. Beyond performance lies strategy. Are we witnessing deliberate governance reforms aimed at long-term national growth, or carefully calculated, designed to shape voter psychology ahead of 2027? How are opposition parties responding? How are they building alternative policy blueprints, strengthening grassroots networks, or merely waiting for political openings? And what role does legality, constitutional structure, and electoral law play in shaping ambition? Tonight, we explore the intersection of governance, ambition, and political strategy, not as speculation, but as analysis. Joining us is Oluwatobi Fatoke. He's a legal practitioner, respected legal practitioner at that, and public affairs analyst, who will help us examine the constitutional, institutional, and governance implications of early political positioning. And of course, we are also joined by Moyosore Oluwa Olamileko. He's a PDP stalwart, and of course, a grassroots mobilizer. So he understands also what we are trying to discuss on this show this evening. He brings the perspective of party structure, grassroots sentiment, and opposition readiness. This is not just about 2027. It is about direction. Nigeria is taking today, of course, has so much meanings, and how that direction shapes tomorrow and its mandate. Thank you for joining us on the show this evening. It is still the Poliscope, and SAMSON BALOGUN is my name. Barrister Fatoke, good to have you on the in the studio this evening.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here at Dominion TV.
Moyosore Oluwa, good to have you here.
My pleasure to be here once again at Dominion TV.
Let's dissect the preparedness of political parties ahead of 2027. In Oyo State, PDP rules. Engineer Seyi Makinde is the governor. At the federal level, the APC rules. And of course, you have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as fondly called by some people. But of course, definitely ideas are different. Positions are different. Views are different. And of course, political parties are different. And that is why we have diverse opinion on this show this evening. I'll be starting with Barrister Fatoke. If you look at the current trajectory and the framework of political positioning as we speak in Nigeria, do you think some of these policies of Asiwaju, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is in line and, of course, being particularly positioned to suit his 2027 agenda?
Oh, thank you very much. Well, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is trying his best, and the entire cabinet, the presidency, and the entire cabinet, talking about the institutions, talking about the ministries, MDAs in general, and talking about the other arms of government under this dispensation, the legislative arm and the judiciary arm, and talking about the armed forces, the security angle. We can say that our current president is a man that understands so well the dynamics of politics and the electioneering process. He is not a butt over. He is not a stranger to the affairs of good governance. He is not a stranger to when we talk about critical thinking, bringing solutions, moving the country forward. Well, one thing is a party, political party. Another thing is a person on individual basis. Now, bringing someone that's on his own personal ground understands the game so well to a party that, if we should compare, so I need to smile there, with what we've had in the past, then we can say this is a good time for us as a nation.
Is it good to say that his current policies as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, just merely to suit his ambition for 2027? But they are long-term projects.
The policies, as we can see, are long-term projects, not just merely to suit his ambition. You see, let us compare, before I nail it, with the previous immediate past presidents, the late President Muhammadu Buhari. May Almighty God, Almighty Allah rest his soul. Under his regime, we experience a kind of slowness, delays.
It was tagged Baba Go Slow.
Of course, it became a trend. It became a trend at a point. But things were working gradually. That's a projection. Now, but a lot of eyebrows were raised. And even it got to a point that the cabinets, some of them, in courts, allegedly, but the facts are there, don't even want the current president on board. And a whole lot happened that stained that party. So we should get it clear that the party in power today was not having any initial problem. But because of, this thing must not go to this person, this and that, when we have a lot of enemies, different policies will start coming up. From the Mayfield's, CBS policies, security, and the likes, targeted at one person just to taint that political party, because Nigeria, as of today,
so it was a deliberate attempt.
It was a deliberate attempt
to
because
sabotage
we don't have
his
what
ambition.
Is known as, you cannot come down, is allowed, but you can't come in the developer and say one man. What do we call it in electioneering? You don't have any political party and say, okay, I want to contest in my own name. So they needed, even from within the party, independent candidate. Thank you, my brother. They needed to stain that party, not to allow. So not as if anything was wrong with the party initially, but they need to stain that party. And despite all, the man thrives against all odds and emerges the president. And now the party that was so really seriously tainted, stained, embarrassed, is now a formidable force in Nigeria today. Every other political parties have aligned majorly and queue behind the peace and say, no, look at all the states. The main opposition party now is down. Look at the legislative arm. Majority, all have said that's the party that was taken.
Now, we get there. So
down. The policies. So this is a man that is strategic in his performance.
Okay, now let me come.
And it's going to work.
Let me come to Boyosoro Olua. He argued that your party is down. Is that true?
You see, when you have two products with different brand, it is very possible for you to ensure that your own product is bought against the other products.
So yes, is the PDP dead as a political party?
If PDP is dead, we won't have councillors in the recent Abuja municipal election. We will not have
a chairman.
Even though it was supposed to be two. And we are still contending that for Kuje. For me, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you read my write-up that I put in today was on Nigeria on My Mind, part 3. I thought about the state of the nation. Yes, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very strategic. You understand politics, you understand politicking, you understand
and he's deliberate with his policies.
Everything they are intentional. Everything that is doing, they are intentional. And I can tell you that whatever he's doing, everything that he's doing is towards a mission. He has a mission. He's running a race. And he himself understood because he does not have a document. He doesn't have a written document that is using to run Nigeria. He doesn't have a manifesto documented that Nigerians, like my barrister, can even hold on to and say, okay, let us go and check so page. That this was what Bola Ahmed Tinubu told us in 2023 that he's going to do.
He said he was going to remove fuel subsidy. He did.
I'm saying...
He was going to deregulate some ministries and parastatals, and he's been doing that.
All these things are not documented. They are just on statement. They are not documented. Are you getting me? You cannot even compare the way Governor Makinde of your state has documented everything that he wants to do. And he's going to be the first governor that will do that. No president has ever done that. Yes, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing what suits him and what he thinks that it suits the people. Yes, Barrister said every other political parties, they are aligning. That's not alignment. That's not a real alignment. If I approach a lady to say yes to me or say no to me, there's a freedom of speech, a freedom of communication to say, oh, hi, I like you, I love you, you are this, you are that. Is it that you say yes to me or you say no? Why do I need to threaten or to put it under duress before you even say yes to me? Why do I need to even deny maybe help or support or something like that for you to say yes to me or to even to comply to my proposal? So that's not alignment for me. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like I said, is a strategist in politicking and in politics, and he's using it and he's making it. But for me, it should be towards the progress of Nigeria. Because players, actors will come and go. Nigeria will remain. The same thing that Barrister said happened during Tinubu, happened during their party issues, that they were stealing the party. They used it against Jonathan too. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was part of the lead player. Muhammadu Buhari, late, was part of the lead player. Oh, Yegun and many other people, there were part of people who say, oh, Jonathan is not good, he's not fit, insecurity is there, this and that. He was there. He was part of it. And so they used propaganda to push Jonathan away.
So, Boyosoro Olua, let me quickly bring this to your notice. You have seen governors whose yearly budgets carry sophisticated names, well documented. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, people complained. I will start with Ben Nayade. And of course, Ben Nayade at a point from Cross River. In 2016, his budget was named Budget of Deep Vision. In 2017, budget of infinite transposition. And of course, in 2018, he had the budget of kinetic crystallization. And in 2019, he had the budget of quabalistic densification. And in 2020, budget of Olympic masses. And of course, in 2021, budget of blush and bliss. In 2022, budget of conjugated agglutinization. He has had so many names. And I will go further and further and bring you some other names. They documented. They had so many things. But eventually, people complained. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you say, I want to argue with you, that he had the documentation. He knew what he was coming to do. Nobody comes to the office without a blueprint, no matter how slim the book might be. But definitely, there's a blueprint.
You feel he has a blueprint. And like I said, he knows what he's doing. I get it. You remember that some people have suggested that, oh, the IGP that was there is illegal. It's supposed his time is gone and the likes like that. And of course, eventually, it happened and he has resigned. But the person that is there, is he supposed to be the one that is supposed to be there? First subsidy that you say you have removed, is that the way to go? I mean, what data, what sample?
Is there a better way to remove the fuel subsidy?
Are there no better ways?
What are the ways?
If you want to take a particular food from somebody's mouth, that, oh, this food is not good, are you not going to have the other alternative at hand before you take away that one? You're going to have it.
Was the food legal in the first place?
If you say it's not legal, since the removal of that subsidy, what has changed?
Compare the price of crude and, of course, price of petrol in Nigeria and some other countries.
Are you enjoying
what is the difference?
Removal of fuel subsidy?
The question is, if you compare the price of fuel in Nigeria to that of Libya, in Benin Republic, Cameroon,
we are in Nigeria.
Niger Republic.
I'm not interested.
Nigeria is not different. Nigeria is a country.
I am not interested in Libya. I don't live in Libya.
Sorry.
I don't live in Togo. I am in Nigeria.
I'm coming to you.
I want to comment on. I don't want to.
I am in Nigeria. I know how much I'm buying fuel in Nigeria. I know how much I'm buying fuel in Nigeria.
But if you travel to Benin Republic, you will buy for the price they sell there.
Tinubu is not president of Libya. He's in Nigeria.
But if you travel to Benin Republic, you will buy for the same price there.
I am in Nigeria.
Is that right?
When it came
you
to
buy as a Beninois.
If I'm in Benin Republic or I'm in Ghana, there's a policy that runs there. There's a government there. There's a government in Nigeria.
Okay, but Mr. Fatoki, yes. You had something to say
yes,
about
I just want to add to the discussion, this blueprint and what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done so far that is trying to antagonize. Let me start by saying this. I don't know how much, again, to describe what is known as renewed hope. And I said, that was why I laid the foundation that even this man, before he came to power, even the party, his political party, some, political class there tried to bring him down. The system was more or less like in a dismal, like an hopeless situation. And this is a man that saw the future and saw that this hope can be renewed.
Was he the best candidate at the time?
At the time, of course. Who else could have done it? This is a man that is determined. You have to look at, I don't say it as a politician. If you want to know somebody that is ready for a job, look at his mindset before getting that job. How determined that person is.
So if
he was so determined that no matter what, come rain, come shine.
What's the difference between determination and desperation?
Of course, the desperation comes with greed.
Was it desperate?
It wasn't desperate. It was determined to change the dynamics. It was determined for a renewed hope. That no, the hopeless situation, we must bring in hope. And he started. He is a man, when he got to power, when he came on board, he dotted his eyes and crossed his T's. And he stood by his words. He walked the talk. I will remove subsidy. He did. And the reliefs immediately. He brought in Sukkot. Why do you have the CNG buses? Why do we have CNG buses? Now today, before now, we know how much transporters or they charge. If you look at Micra, if you look at even Tricycle, most of them are CNGs. We is a Sukkot from the federal government. Many states were given Sukkot aids. Buses, like this thing before to ease the pain of the sudden removal of fuel subsidy.
Including
your states.
Absolutely.
They were given CNG, they were empowered. And also, there is what we call derivation. Revenue allocation, sharing, all the likes. The IGRs, what comes to state governments. And I will talk about what my mentor did, the Honorable General of the Federation, Prince Latif, Alaska fight me. When he fought the governors, I said, no, you can't take this thing off local governments. You are the one killing our democracy. The president is doing his best, but the governors are not making it to show up.
And the Oyo State governor is also against local government autonomy.
Of course.
He has a lot to say about that.
Of course. But well, are they getting their allocation directly? And no, they challenge it. If Prince Latif went to court, he won. So if all these things could show, if they are not usurping what is coming, talking about this signs that I believe we have a listening president. People talking about insecurity. The problem is this is a problem. I'm an expert in peace and security studies, and this, no matter anywhere where you have peace, you have insecurity as a twin brother or twin sister beside it. They just need to wake up. Once there is insecurity, you equally have peace waiting to be restored. That's why you have peace building, peacemaking, and the likes. Now, instead of putting, things in place under Section 14(2)B, understands that the primary function of government is security and the welfare of the masses. Oh, okay, the welfare, though we can agree, I agree that the rich keep getting richer as a result of today, and the poor are getting poorer. I can agree to that. Looking at the economy,
by statistics.
Statistics. But nevertheless, there has been, an
upward improvement on what we currently have. Okay.
Apart from salary, insecurity issue is being looked into, collaboration with other stakeholders, US, and curbing the challenges and the likes. But it's not. We need more in that light. And also look at our education system. Look at the budgets, this recent budget, trillions, insecurity, education, infrastructure. Look at the Calabar Coastal Highway, trying to bring, to make governments, governors nearer, democracy nearer to the people. Who else could have done that? Is that not a renewed hope? Is that a hope being renewed? And all these things not strategic, even apart from his ambition, it's not towards a futuristic Nigeria.
Okay, now, Moyo, sorry, Oluwa. If you look at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's strides since he became president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has there been a time you thought that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel with some of his policies?
I like some of the things that Barrister has just said. Yes, we need hope. But he has not given us an assurance on that we need hope.
So if you talk about assurance, what exactly are you looking for?
Barrister talked about, he made so many promises, statements, he's going to remove this, he's doing it. And he said that if I don't fix electricity and I come back the second time, don't vote for me.
We also see the corruption in the electricity. They bought in about that of 23 million. The president sat and looked into it and said, this is 2.3 trillion. So where the corruption
it was initially 6 point something.
They are blocking. We are making this within.
Until this one is
he appointed the enemies, right?
No. We have Jekos now. It has been privatized before he came on board.
Is he not the president?
It is privatized.
Is he not the president?
The sole duty of the presidency.
He has the minister of power.
This thing is being privatized.
The box stop on his table.
No, we have the generating, Gencos. We have the distribution company, this cause.
He knows.
Population of power is only a regulatory body.
His party governed for good 8 years. No. His party governed this country for good 8 years.
We have a
yes or no? Yes or no? The same thing you are saying is party, that he was the national leader of that party. He was an advisor. He was a leader. He was a control of that president and of that party for good 8 years.
The one manipulating the figures. No.
For good. You said some people are jeopardizing election. He appointed a minister of power.
The other day, the minister of power himself.
Do you know what?
Adekola Adelabu. Adebayo Adelabu. Clemens. He came on board and said, let everybody have access to prepaid meter free of charge, without a dime. Give it to them. What happened?
Sorry, sir.
They disagreed.
Where do you stay?
Is that not a good intention?
You said
Is that a good intention?
You said renewed hope. And I said there has not been confidence and assurance in renewed hope. So a prepared meter should be done free of charge in your area, in my area. I've not seen an IBDC or what have you DC that they are doing it free of charge.
Without any issue ever since.
In my area, they brought prepared meter not on the platter of gold. Now he said something about budget.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for interjecting.
You must explain.
I'm very sorry for interjecting. Back to the issue of power. Let us remember vividly when former president, late President Balogun Buhari, when he was the government, under the constitution, is it the fifth schedule or what? We have what is called the exclusive list. We have the concurrent list. Yes. And the power sector, was deregulated. So you cannot be putting the fault. The governors, the state has the power to generate.
Your state became.
So, but you also have of power is doing nothing. What your own state, your own governor, is no more under the exclusive legislative list.
Okay, so now, your last take before we leave that particular topic.
Now, under budgets, do you know that for infrastructure, 2025 budget, we are in 2026 budget, 2025 budget is not even appearing. It's not even showing, it's not even appearing on the fiscal policy, and you have moved, there's a carryover from 2024 budget to 2025 budget, and 2025 budget is not even surfacing at all, and now you are into 2026 budget, where we have a president, we have a Senate president, and we have a right honorable speaker. Nigeria doesn't have a 2025 budget in a nation where we have a system that works. You said Nigeria has put CNG everywhere. Yes, Oyo State received theirs, but do you know how it came? Do you know how much they asked Oyo State to pay? Oyo State is paying certain amount of money every month on that CNG. Are they free? Do you know how much they are selling that money? That is CNG. Do you know how much they are selling it? Do you care to know? Does the government put trust fund in place to ensure that if it is 5 million naira, give it to people for 2 million naira? Is that what we call palliative? Is that what we call renewed hope? It's renewed suffering, renewed poverty, renewed insecurity, renewed hunger and anger in Nigeria. That's not renewed hope. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is feeling fine. He's sleeping. He can go to market. He can't know how much. Do you know? A common man can wake up this morning and say he has done anything from morning to night. Go to the public, go and see the way things are.
Now, Moyo, sorry, Lua.
Transport is not even cheap. It's not cheap.
Understandably, when this administration took over, there was a spike in prices of commodities.
Absolutely.
But as we speak, is the price the same with what you saw since the inception of this administration?
Look, there's an agency in charge of price control. Where are they? Has government given an executive order on, so goods should be sold for this, for that? The market in your state has put subsidy, has removed the tax subsidy on goods from traders that don't collect taxes from them. When was the last time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that? When was the last time giving instructions to this agency? Go to medicine store, pharmacy, and the likes like that.
Also, before we leave this particular topic, when the government says we are leaving prices of commodities to market forces, it means exchange in the market determines how much you sell and how much you buy.
Absolutely.
Meaning that regulatory bodies are left on the standby.
Absolutely.
They do not intervene. So I'm asking you again that since the inception of this administration, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over, where we saw a spike in prices of commodities, especially since the removal of fuel subsidy, do we still have the same set of prices as we speak?
Relatively, there are differences, but not in all.
Downward differences or upward
differences. It's a little bit different. And when we talk about difference, we should be mentioning What are those things?
A bag of rice was once sold for almost 100,000
It's
naira.
not
And as we
55,000
speak,
naira.
it's about say 55 to 50,000
I
naira,
agree with
depending on
you.
the prices.
I agree with
now,
you.
that is not a little difference.
Are we
If you
talking
ask
about-
me,
Wait, I agree.
sorry, under this, let me add to this.
That is right.
I'm coming to you,
Okay.
Barrister Fatoke.
Okay.
Remember that before that rice price could come down, the land border was opened.
And that was a policy renewal. That was a policy review.
When did he open the land border?
Was it President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that closed the border in the first place?
What happened to him that he couldn't open it immediately he got to that power? That he could say subsidies over immediately. That he could approve electoral amendment just like that.
Now, if you want to talk about the electoral amendment, Barrister Fatoke, I'm coming to you shortly. If you want to talk about the electoral amendment bill that was passed to law, an election was coming up in Abuja, and there was meant to be a test run before the general elections.
Absolutely.
So there was an opportunity, there was a lacuna, and the president plugged into it. Let's test this in Abuja. So you want to disagree with that too?
Is that how you feel?
It's an opinion. So I want to believe that was what happened
I'm
from the
sure
president.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not taking that direction, because what happened in Abuja wasn't in compliance to what he approved. Because INEC needs to even adjust some of their timetable and review some other things. And again, for me, did you see, can we authoritatively say that what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu approved was put in place, was practiced at that Abuja election?
I will allow Barrister Fatoke to answer that question.
Thank you. Before I answer that, I think we Nigerians, we do mostly forget the things we've passed through in the past. But when people are complaining or speaking ill about, in quotes, a Messiah, others always join. Then, it happened to Jesus, it happened to Muhammad, it happened to many prophets that has come. They do say a prophet does not have honor in his own land, because they will look at, we know his history now. He's not the son of this and this and that. He's not someone that has this kind of history. How can he do this? So people will speak ill of you. But, well, politicians, leaders, not rulers now, they are like a dumpy site. So they should have the observer to take all kind of debts. And they must always listen. Before now, I remember vividly, almost every year, we do experience queue at our filling stations. Last year, since this administration came on board, that is long gone. We don't have that again. And at that point, every time, once there is a queue, you are expecting increments in prices of goods and commodities. You are expecting increments in transport fares.
Are the prices stable?
What is making not to be stable? I'm coming from 12, how many naira, 45, 65, this and that. Different administration. But under renewal projects, you had peace of mind. Do you know how many people have lost their lives as a result of storing fuel because you know there will be increase in December in the house? A lot of news, if you go back and check the news as an investigative journalist, many people have lost their lives, but now people could sleep off because you could drive in at any time, get a fuel. We've equally forgotten how this same administration has been dealing and has dealt with some cabals, even within the NNPCL, to date. And we are seeing good results. We are seeing improvements. And also, let me say this, from what you ask, on the 2026 now, Electoral Act, to me, is a good step in the right direction. And if you say there are some things that requires urgency, election will commence fully in 2027. Before they are what we call, what do we call it? Things that ought to have been on ground. Steps. Before 2027 election, INEC will spend. They must present their budgets. If they don't have a lot, if they don't have, I mean, you see, even their budget was recently increased. They are requesting for additional 3 billion or so.
So they are going to about 1 trillion?
Because if you are saying that you want to do electronic transmission alone, I was opportune to talk on this on one broadcast media when they first said, "Oh, we are going." It was in the last one, and the court said when this last election, when they couldn't, they can decide to come in through manual, to fill for the shortfall, which
It has
they
to
did.
be a backup plan.
Yes, which they did, because there are some things that is beyond INEC itself. Talking about technical know-how. Yes, it's an independent body, but if you don't have a budget towards that, we politicians, during electioneering, during campaigns, we can go to every political unit, even those in the core, in the almost all as the most abandoned place, even political units or riverine areas. You see politicians putting on their boots, getting there, but is that technical know-how, fiber optics and the likes for transmission? How do you skate through? Once they get to power, they are being forgotten. And nowhere in the world that they don't have glitches when it comes to electioneering. Well, that's where you practice democracy, even in US. Even in US, before when Obama was on board, the allegation from Russia towards the technology, there is no, if you are saying that it's rigging in manual, I can tell you that people also have what we call viruses, bypass electronic means. It's a back end, it's being controlled by individuals.
Okay.
It was computer storage, data inputs, garbage out.
Okay,
it's
now-
not to feed in. So to avoid all this, let us have it backed up. What bad has he done? And as matter of urgency, this thing needed to be budgeted for. If you don't pass it now, will you be trying to 2027? How would that approve? Where will the money come? How would they spend? How would they do the needful before the electioneering?
Okay, having spoken about the president's policies and what it means for average Nigerians, and I could say that both Barrister Fatoke and Aboyo Sorelu have really done a great work when it comes to...
I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry.
all of that.
Let me add
Just
this.
in
I'm
30
sorry,
in
please.
30
I'm sorry.
seconds,
This president is listening. See the IGP, the former IGP. People have a lot of eyebrows raised. And now we have, what's his name?
He argued that it wasn't meant to be today the issue to become the
Look
IGP.
at the armed forces. A lot of changes.
Fuji Disu the next person?
Oh, it's a political appointment, my brother. Sorry to say. It's a political
bless you.
appointment. It's
I like
it's
that.
not by rank.
I like that.
It's a political
Now,
appointment.
also
And
to
prerogative.
add to what he said,
Pleasure of the governor of the president.
Tunde Disu was a 1992 intake. Of course, the Nigerian police cadet. And Frank Uba was a 1994 intake. And according to the info out there circulating, Frank Uba was promoted twice in the space of 3 months, just to make sure that he met up with the federal character when it comes to police management board. So Tunde Disu is not Frank Uba's junior. In fact, by administration and by intake, he was a senior
The
to
president
Frank
has
Uba.
the right to
And of
choose
course, he
anybody.
has the right to choose whoever he feels like.
My
he wants
own
to
is
work
that he should just perform.
Okay, now let me ask you this very quickly. Now, we have talking about policies of the president. Now let's talk about what it means and interpretation for the people. Can policy direction legitimately serve both national development and political ambition at the same time? I'm talking to you, Solidua.
Policy. Setting a good direction and towards an ambition. See, for everything that a government puts in place, it will have a direct or indirect impact. For instance, we're talking about electoral amendment bill. It has a way of affecting some people directly or indirectly.
And it's a welcome development to some people.
And it's a welcome development. And that some people have raised eyebrow, why in haste? Barrister has said there's something that needs to be done urgently because of the electoral umpire, the INEC,
Planning.
that needs to put planning as we put in place. We have forgotten that there are some things that we put in place that, if not critically criticized, with critical thinking, just like Barrister said, development is a critical thinker. That you look at it inwardly. That is it a short-term impact or long-term impact or an immediate impact? So it's possible for a policy to work in that direction. But whoever is making that policy, or whoever is it, whether a lawmaker or a governor or a president, should look inward. Because you know that if you are saying there's a roadblock somewhere and there is no alternative route to go through and there's this disaster, is that not going to have an impact? If you are saying for you alone that you don't want to get injured by anything whatsoever, you should look at other people, you should consider other people. So for me, policies can go in that direction, but we should look at that kind of a policy. That how well will it go to the people? Like Barrister said, talking about the issue of NNPCL stuff, the CNG stuff, and some other things. Yes, he said he agreed that the rich people are getting richer, while the other way, the common people are getting more poorer. It's true. Government created the poverty for us intentionally and deliberately. And I've not seen how government has not put in a policy that could alleviate poverty, that could stop poverty, that could alleviate hunger.
Children of the poor can now get loan for the institutions for education, unlike before.
I mean, that is it not low? It's low.
Flexible.
Even in the US, they get loans.
They can't go to school. Now they are going to school.
I agree with
Even in the UK.
I agree with you. But we need to look at the process of that policy. You are not a beneficiary of that policy. I would have wished somebody benefiting from that policy to come on here and explain to us, are you a student of social school, 100 level, 200 level? How did you apply? Tell us the process. That is when we will know that this policy is working or has worked. I am not a beneficiary of it. Well, there's no time for us. I can use somebody's instance to tell you that, oh, now, again, if you say this policy works and it's working, that person, they say until he or she is working, maybe after he or she has served and has gained employment, why will a copper serve 1 year, serve the country, and the government does not have a provision for that copper to be gainfully employed? Okay, where we have some MDAs that some staff there are supposed to have retired, and the government are not looking into that aspect of it.
A quick fact check.
And it will take 5-10 years for somebody to get the job.
As of this month, February 2026, reports has it and noted that previously updated recently that about 1,599,243 total applicants after deadline extension of the 2025-2026 cycle have shown interest and of course have been given loans from NEL fund. So meaning that averagely it's about 1,193,228 applications that were received eventually, and they have gotten them. So if you say 1 million students in Nigeria, for example, have applied, so many people will not be interested, of course. And then they will not show interest. It's not all that will be interested.
And if you don't pay, what happens to you?
That will be a case for when you don't pay. I can cite an instance. Recently, people took loans during COVID-19. Of course, they took grants. They said they thought it was grants, but of course they took loans. Some took as high as 10 million naira, 400,000, 500,000, depending on. And some people did not pay. They deliberately did not pay. And there's a GSI, a quick instruction by the presidency. Global. Go into all accounts and pick all these monies. And people are paying, whether through diagnosis or through deliberate actions. They are paying. So if you fail to pay according to the plan they have for you, that will be taken from you.
May I ask this question? As much as the governments are earning so much, the legislators are earning so much, governors are earning so much, elected officials are earning so much, president is earning so much, why can't that loan turn to grants for students? We have some of these students who are sending themselves to school through peanuts, through hustling out there, selling pure water, selling bottle drinks to run schooling, to hustle.
Okay,
Are you getting me? Why can't they turn to? Don't we have the resources?
Let Barrister
Do you know how much
Fatoki
researchers,
take that.
lawmakers are earning
Okay,
every
Barrister
month?
Fatoki,
Allowances?
I do hope you have a response.
Do you know how much their fleets are?
I do.
Right.
Let me add to what he said. Yes, he has spoken with Mr. Olamilekon. Of a truth, you have to look at the high earning capacity, rather in salary allowance of
social classes,
of
the
it has
elite,
to
and
be
of course,
come down. But talking
the not
about
so rich.
student loans and the likes, I can tell you that categorically. Talking about education, education has to do with research, and students, serious ones, do apply, and get grants, either in degree, masters, PhD levels, even lecturers. They do apply for, and there are bodies that will look into their application and say, oh, is this application worthy of a grant? What research? What novel thing? Do you want to, what are you contributing to knowledge? And if what you are contributing to knowledge is, is what you'll be given grants, educational grants. So there are many students that we don't even know, and those that we know that have applied for grants. We have NGOs, we have even bodies here in Nigeria, we have international donors and the likes that issue out educational grants. But the laws that the government has brought in is to help the children of the poor, for them to avoid education. And it's not account, it's not free of charge, their procedure.
So before you leave that particular, even Barack Obama studied through student loans. So very quickly before we go, we've got just about 2 minutes before we leave this show, this evening, and I want to split that a minute each. If you look at the preparation for the 2027 general elections, the APC has had several plans, especially ahead of the election. We have the Renewed Hope agenda and of the Renewed Hope ambassadors. And we also have the City Boys movement.
Yes.
And there are also several movements like that. That is preparation for the APC. For the PDP, we have not really seen much of them because there is divide at party level, especially at national level. Boye, do you think the APC is over-prepared for 2027 general election?
Every political party are prepared.
Is the APC doing too much?
APC at the federal level, they are the ruling party at the federal level. Oyo State, we have PDP. Lagos State, we have APC. Osun State, we have PDP. And every other state like that, we have Labour Party and we have PDP. So everybody,
you have a court party.
Everybody are preparing for 2027 election. Every political party. So it's because, Bola Tinubu is the president. He has to, and every other person that wants to contest that position too, he's preparing. Do I need to show to Mr. SAMSON or Barrister Fatoki that I am preparing to overthrow Bola Tinubu? Let the election come now. And Bola Tinubu said election is not done on social media. We'll do it on that election day through our blood, top printing. So let the election come.
Not through our blood, though. Through
I'm top printing now. Yes,
you
now.
don't want to go. Jonathan said their blood does not want
top printing. By February, March 2027, who
know exactly
who know who wins.
Barrister Fatoki, that in 1 minute.
Thank you very much. I can say the APC's led administration, they are making the news. And for you to make the news, you must be able to answer the 5 W's and 1 H, which is who in journalism news, the president, what, the policies, where in Nigeria, when, since the inception of the administration, why for a better country, and how. 5 W's and the 1 H. Through this, through that. And under Oslo's theory of communication, he said it must be transactional in nature. There must be a feedback, devoid of news. So you must have, agencies, or have people that will make these things to be known. So if groups are forming, like the CMBs, people are coming, they are making sure that, the divide, the other side of the divide, the positions are not bringing noise into the news. And I think there are a lot of noises outside just to persuade the perception of the masses against the progress of this administration. And so that's the reason why they're not doing too much. They're doing the right thing to bring about the 5 W's and 1 H. And they are taking it to the grassroots. They're taking it everywhere. And other stakeholders are seeing it. The blind can see it, the deaf can hear, the lame can feel it. Their voices are coming up. And I can take it to go except for the lazy youths and lazy ones. Nigeria will still favor us more than this. We are getting there.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the show this evening. It has been an eye-opening session with you both, and I would do to bring you back some of the times you have this constructive argument about the directions of this country. Thank you for being on this show.
You're most welcome.
All right, as we conclude tonight's discussion, one thing becomes clear. Elections are not won in a moment. They are built over time. Policy direction, governance records, grassroots engagement, public trust, legal structure, and political organization are all converge to determine electoral outcomes. If 2027 will be a referendum, then today's decisions are already part of the ballot. The big question remains, will electoral ambition be driven by genuine performance, clear policy alternatives, and responsible politics? Or will positioning overshadow substance? The coming months and years will reveal the answer. My sincere appreciations to our guest this evening, Oluwatobi Fatoki, a legal practitioner, and Moyosora Olua Olamileko, who happens to be a grassroots mobilizer with the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for their insights and perspectives. And thanks to our viewers out there for staying with us on the Poliscope on Dominion Television. I'm SAMSON BALOGUN, wishing you a thoughtful evening. Good night, and stay engaged. Bye for now.